Okay, well, I'm presenting 2 sessions tomorrow, and they kind of have a common theme of technology or technology that might have been around a little bit, but how to advance it for the way things are changing in the computing world. So the first one I'm doing is on virtualizing Active Directory, which is a popular topic right now because everybody's virtualizing everything, and it's safe to virtualize Active Directory, but if you don't follow some rules, you can get yourself in serious trouble. So not a hard presentation, but an important presentation. The other one is much more the way of the future and complicated, and I'm doing a session on installing the Active Directory Federation Services lab. And Laura Hunter did a thing earlier today on ADFS and how important it is for IT pros in the future to understand it. And this lab is a keystone for how do you understand it. And so I'm going to walk through the lab, show what the different players are, zoom in on the details to really help people jumpstart them on understanding the 105-page lab to get through. Well, I'm not allowed to just say cloud computing. That would be overkill with everything. I think if you have to say cloud computing, you have to put 3 or 4 adjectives on there to define it very carefully. So for example, last week at MMS, Microsoft was talking about their on-premise private cloud strategy. Because you can have, when people talk about cloud computing, they say, what they really mean, and they're not thinking about it, is public cloud. But they don't think about that. And now the talk is, now that people have just started to understand a little bit about it, people are realizing the difficulties associated with it and all that, and now the talk is starting to migrate over to private cloud. So now everybody says, what does private cloud mean? So we're trying to help people understand what all of that means, and I've been writing several articles because even at conferences where I've been around some very, very sharp people, the questions being asked are still very basic. So I'm spending a lot of time, since my focus is identity, and specifically enterprise identity, I write an enterprise identity column for the magazine, is to be trying to steer the IT pro towards looking at what's coming in the future and how to position themselves for it. So I'm beating the drum for federated, for federated identity, for identity as a service, and some other things that people have not really had the chance to look at or understand. And I know, because for me it takes, I have to see something a number of times for it to really sink in. And so it's important to keep bringing it up and keep bringing it up, and people are tired of hearing about it, but at least maybe they'll understand it by then. So it is, what I'm excited about is being able to be in a position to help steer the IT pro towards paying attention to these things that they need to be paying attention to. Because I now have the luxury of being able to look ahead and study the trends and see where things are going, and talking to a bunch of smart people all across the country about where things are going. And then I try to put that out in the magazine. Well, I just did a fun one a couple weeks ago at the end of the MVP Summit. I was up there a few weeks ago at the MVP Summit because I'm a directory service MVP, and had a chance to sit down and interview my old friend Mark Rusinovich about Windows Azure and what it is specifically for the IT pro, what they should pay attention to, what Windows Azure is, what the IT pro needs to know about it, what he needs to pay attention to, and all that sort of thing. So we're going to have that article coming out pretty soon. It's going to be the interview will be in print, and then the longer unabridged interview will be out on the web. And it's a really great interview. We talk about a whole bunch of stuff, have a little bit of fun. It was a good time. We're presenting a Mobile and Cloud Connections Conference in a couple of weeks in Las Vegas, and that's been an interesting project to put together because, and it didn't really sink in at first. And we talk about mobile and cloud, and the two don't seem like they're at all together, but they really are, because mobile development, if you think about a lot of the most successful applications that are out there right now, they have both mobile and they have cloud aspects to them. So for example, one of my favorite travel applications is TripIt, which we all use for our travel things, and it's just got this great little mobile app, but it's basically the front end to a cloud application, a SaaS application in the back end. So the idea behind this is the application developers have both of those things in one location. So that's a show that we're looking forward to doing. That's in the Bellagio in a couple weeks. And then yes, we're going to be at Tech Ed, and we are doing a sort of an IT professionals career and developers career night on Sunday night before the conference, where we're going to be have a couple of we're going to have a couple of speakers there, and we're going to do several forums. Panels on stage with myself and Paul Thurrott moderating a panel of IT pros and what they're doing for career strategies, and also a developer forum panel with Richard Campbell of Run As Radio and Mike Odie, our Senior Technical Director, to talk about career strategies for developers. So that'll be a lot of fun. And at the tail end of it is also we have this really cool video that we just shot where we get a bunch of speakers and they all talk about what they think were their great career tips too. So.